Hello and welcome. You're watching Simply Bewitching by Wendy, and today I'm taking part in a collaboration with Take 5. It's Whimsical DIY, and it's put on by Christy from Funky Junk Inspiration, Mary from The Painted Peach, and Jeannie from Jeannie's Palette. Right now I am using a little mold that I bought from Temu. It's a donut mold. It's silicone, and I am just conditioning some foam clay. Conditioning is just stretching and pulling and pushing together until all the air bubbles come out and the moisture is evenly distributed. You'll be able to actually feel the difference. Then I just kind of rolled it and fit it into the little donut place. Press on it, smooth it out, get it even. And once you get that done, you're just going to flip your foam piece over or your silicone piece over and smooth out any little spots that need smoothing out. Then you can set that aside, and I grabbed out a dark brown foam clay, and I just push it down into a nice thin flat piece and pull the little edges out. We're making icing for our donut. So we'll have a chocolate iced donut. Then you just got to tap it down, go all the way around, make sure everything is touching. The stickiness of foam clay will hold it. It doesn't need glue or anything like that for this. Now we're just going to get on with creating the whimsical part of this. And here I've taken a darker green foam clay and a lighter green foam clay, and I'm just blending them together and conditioning them together, and that way I can come up with the shade that I really want to use. I used a little bit of white clay in there, and that is just a simple clay that I bought in a Dollar General store. Then you just take it and roll it into a ball. Smooth out anything on the outside that looks like it's a little bit cracked or anything like that. A tip when you're doing this, if you have trouble with things that feel like they're, it's too dry or something. This clay was actually a little too wet, but if it's too dry, you can get some water and just put a little water on your finger and smooth out any cracks. This is a little box of eyes, little black dots that I bought, I'm pretty sure from Temu for very little, but it's possible it came from Amazon. I'm not quite sure where, but I'm sure you can look up little black eyes. Then I just stuck them in and used a knife to make a smiley face. Have y'all figured out what I'm making yet? Now we're going to make 4 little balls. Get them as even as you can. And then you roll them out with a little bit of a point on one end, keeping it rounded on the back end. Kind of looks like a candy corn shape. So we're going to do that to all 4 of these, and I'm pretty sure you figured out what we're making. Little whimsical donut turtle. I think he's so stinking cute, y'all. I just love making things with foam clay. It is absolutely one of my most favorite things to do. I took a toothpick, broke it smaller, and used the pieces from that to stick into the legs, and that way they'll hold onto the donut better. And there you go. How cute, right? But no, we're not done yet. Grab some handy dandy Mod Podge and just pop that over the top. I used a pretty thick amount because I have these little clay candy sprinkles. I'm pretty sure I got them off of Etsy. All these clay things are years old, so I'm never quite sure, but I'm pretty sure they came off of Etsy, but you can find them everywhere. I think lately I've seen them either in Walmart or a Dollar Tree, so you can really find clay stuff easy now. Back when I first started playing with it, it wasn't always so easy. There I just decided to take the Mod Podge and go over all of the turtle, and that will help seal him, so when my grandkids pick it up and play with it, if it gets little dirty handprints on it, they'll still wipe right off. and I like for the kids to have things that they can play with. It also gives it a nice glaze, so it gets a bit of a shine to it, and that's it. I actually think I should have put a tail on him, but I didn't think of that when I was making it. And now we're going to make something pink. What do you think we're going to make, y'all? Just took some foam clay. I preconditioned it earlier, so I didn't do a lot of conditioning there. And we're just rolling out another ball. The best way to roll out anything is to use your hands. The heat from your hands helps with the foam clay. Sometimes I have to use a table or something to try and get it a little rounder, but the heat of your hands is the best way to mold and form your foam clay. Use your fingers, the fat. Always try to use the fat part of your hand, the fat part of your fingers. You don't want to leave those indentations when you're rolling things out with your fingers being the rolling, unless you're using that to thin it and, when you're making the points. Here we've rolled out a second tiny little ball, and I took the back of a paintbrush and put 2 little tiny holes for a snout. Is that the right word? And I put a little Mod Podge on the back of it, and I broke off a little toothpick as well. And we're just going to put this right there, and I bet you figured it out. We're making a pink pig. These little foam creatures are a lot of fun to create and play. And if you have children or grandchildren, you can get some foam clay and just sit down with them. And they will play, I don't know, mine have played for hours. They just sit down and play, and you can show them how to make the donut turtle, how to make this little pig, and they'll be impressed and they'll really love it. 2 more little balls, roll them out into a flat, sort of almost the same as what we did for the legs of the turtle. It's like a candy corn, and then flatten it a lot more. You can make these ears the size you want. I really like big ears. Those ears were too big, so I made them smaller. But I do like big ears on my funny whimsical pigs. You're just flattening that candy corn shape until you get it where you want it. Thin out the tips and then bend them over. I also want to say, when I make the little ears, I don't allow them to stay into a perfect shape. If you've ever had pigs or spent much time with them, their ears are not perfect. They have little indentations on the edges, and so I tend to add those little, that's what gives your creation more character. Make flaws, because in real life, they have flaws. Here I'm just using a paintbrush to try and gently smooth down where it connects and make sure it sticks well, because there's no toothpick in those thin ears. Back to the little black eyes that we used before, which I had a lot of trouble getting to stay on my finger. It got there in the end. Had to move it slightly. So we've got the little eyes on there, and now we're taking 4 little tiny balls, and these are really tiny. And you just roll these into balls, and then we're going to flatten the balls so that we can make little legs for our pig to stand on. So you can see how this is a really simple, cute, whimsical pig. You could take paint when this is dry, and you could stick it on the end of a Q-tip or one of those little bouncer, pouncer, whatever they're called, things that you can pick up that are circular foam, and you could put dots all over it. You could take a marker and you could make just little swirls. Just do whatever you want to make your pig look unique. And then I like to push it down so he's up higher in the front and looks a little bit like he's sitting. And then I am going to take, for our last part of this, a little bit of the pink clay and roll it thin. You should roll your clay with the palm of your hand. I have a lot of trouble getting mine to stay thin enough in the center, and I always end up using my fingers in the center to bring that to a thinner area and then back to the palm of my hand again. And there I just took and wound it into the little pig's curl, made a hole in the back of the pig where I wanted it to sit, and then I just stuck it into the hole and used that toothpick to make sure it went in and was set. There you have it, the cutest little donut turtle and the most fun whimsical pig you'll ever see. Hope you enjoyed this, y'all. If you did, I hope you'll subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.